We start the e-commerce applications learning outcome 3. Understand e-commerce models used in small businesses. So the indicative contents are e-commerce models, e-commerce revenue models, e-marketing techniques. So let us have a look. Learning outcome 3. Modeling e-commerce transactions. An electronic transaction is the sale or purchase of goods or services, whether between businesses, households, individuals, governments, and other public or private organizations, conducted over computer-mediated network. So e-commerce is basically the sale or purchase on computer-mediated network. The goods and services are ordered over those networks. Services may be conducted obviously online or offline. It doesn't make any difference, but the sale or product could happen on the internet, so that's called the e-commerce. Possibly in the literally the payment should also have been gone through, but if the payment is paid by a check or something like that, it is also the e-commerce because you sold something online. A mobile e-commerce transaction is an e-commerce transaction that is initiated and performed using a mobile device such as a mobile phone or a laptop over wireless access network or a short-range wireless link. So basically the mobile commerce is also the part of e-commerce, but normally you initiate your purchase through the mobile and possibly using a wireless technology. The vast majority of e-commerce payments are done by credit card. Normally, people use a credit card, a long number, in order to do their payments. There are two general types of payment systems available. For an e-commerce site of any significant size, the operator will need to open a merchant account and choose an online payment processing service such as CyberCash website, or maybe the WorldPay and others. They are kind of merchant accounts. For a smaller site, a third-party systems such as PayPal, the Skrill, the other like AlertPay, and many more third-party websites which become more cost-effective. The third party collects the funds for a website operator using its own merchant account and then deposit the funds into the website operator account. The most common is the PayPal. The PayPal basically charges to the buyer's account and deposit amount to the sellers securely. Now, the importance of e-commerce transaction models. One of them is a payment gateway is an e-commerce transaction model. A payment gateway is an e-commerce service that processes credit card payments for online and traditional stores. The payment gateways facilitate these transactions by transferring key information between payment portals such as web-enabled mobile devices, websites, and the front-end processor bank. The payment gateways fulfill a vital role in e-commerce transaction process, authorizing the payment between merchant and the customer. Popular payment gateways include PayPal, Braintree, Stripe, Square, many more. So overall, the payment gateway like a PayPal, they allow you to pay to your seller through a kind of third-party technique, and then they allow you to allow the sellers get paid with the help of payment gateway. How payment gateways work? When a customer places an order from an online store, the payment gateway performs several tasks to finalize the transaction. Normally, they encrypt the request. Encryption is kind of the securing the transaction details, and then they authorize the request, that who is making the request, and then the filling the order is being processed. Whatever the order is being processed, the after the payment has been successfully completed. So that is the part of the payment gateway that they needs to authorize the payment, and then the order will be fulfilled. Without the authorization of the payment via the gateway, obviously the order will not go through. Overview of e-commerce transaction models. A revenue model. In a business, revenue typically consists of total amount of money received by the company for goods sold or services provided during a certain time period. So, for example, whatever the revenue is being generated within the e-commerce site, that is called the revenue. So, revenue models are part of business model. Obviously, whatever the business model you have, if it is e-com based, then the model of the revenue is important. Many online companies generate revenues from multiple income streams such as advertising, subscription, affiliate marketing, as well selling products. So they need to follow a kind of model that how they sell, how they are getting the income and total income. Online models not only sell the products or goods or services, but also contexts, for example, banner and information user data. So it is not necessary that a model is only selling the product, but they can also sell the space of their website. They can put the certain advertisements on their website as well. Advertising revenue model. Typically, fees are generated from advertisers in exchange of advertisements. So, when you are, for example, if you have a website that is running successfully and millions of users are the visitors of your website, then you can put the advertisements on your website on the basis of advertising revenue model as well. That's also one of the source of the revenue model. Subscription revenue model. Users are charged periodically, daily, monthly, or annually fees to subscribe a service. Service can be any, for example, the documents that you want to view. The script is a kind of the website that allows you to watch the number of books, the resources, electronic, digital media by allowing you to get it subscribed daily, monthly. So the revenue can be generated from a subscription model by allowing them the access to the resources or services at particular cost. Transaction fee revenue model. A company receives commissions based on a volume of enabling or executing transactions. For example, the PayPal. PayPal is a kind of payment processor, and probably you can interchange any kind of amount or credit in the form of credit score or something which can have a worth, and by selling and buying the particular goods or anything, for example, the interchanging the money, international money, different type of currencies, then you can probably earn from the transaction fee of a particular transaction, or maybe specific to any e-marketing vouchers and selling some kind of vouchers, then you can have the transaction fee revenue model as well. Sales revenue model. Wholesalers and retailers of goods and services sell their products online. The main benefit of customers are convenience, time saving, fast information. The prices are often competitive. In terms of online sales, there are different models such as marketplace and common entry points for various products from multiple vendors. Sales revenue. Probably you can get a commission from the wholesale. Whatever you are selling, and more number of items you are selling, you are getting the more benefit, and on the basis of sales as a wholesaler, it can become a sales revenue model. Affiliate revenue model. The affiliate program is an online distribution solution which is based on the principle of commission. Merchants advertise and sell their products and services through links to a partner websites. So for example, if you have a website and if you are trying to put some sales items from eBay or Amazon, and you are putting some links to particular products into your website, and what will happen when somebody will try to go through to that particular website, then in the URL, the link, your referral name will automatically be included and commission will go to your account automatically. So they are called a kind of affiliate programs. The affiliate programs help you to generate the income on the basis of by referring some people and directing or diverting or forwarding the particular request from your website or maybe from your social profile to actual product, and in return you get the commission. Is that clear?
Clear.
Is that clear? Affiliate revenue, yeah?
Yeah.
Creating online revenue. Now, for internet business, revenue from subscription access to content. Range of document can be accessed for a period of month or typically a year. For example, to subscribe to fbft.com for access to digital technology section for around 80 GB per year a few years ago. So Smart Insights Experts members have an annual subscription in this form. So if you want to create, like I explained, the kind of website which give the books, then by creating and allowing the subscription based content is one kind of online income. Next is revenue from pay-per-view access to document. So one of them that you earn from the subscription with unlimited views, whoever subscribe to your website, and then the pay-per-view is, for example, if you are buying the research document from IEEE store. IEEE store, they give you the research papers. You buy normally only one research paper at one time. So pay-per-view. So only you are getting a one-time product, a digital product, but not for many times. So that's also the kind of generating online revenue from pay-per-view or maybe the subscription based. And third one is the CPM. The CPM stands for cost per thousand, or cost where M denotes the miles or thousand impressions. And sometimes the subscriptions, the digital services, I'm talking about the generally, let's say the ads, the advertisements to be served on a website are dealt in this particular factor, that CPM, the cost per thousand impressions are being sold. That, for example, your website will be showing kind of two CPM, which will cost you the 2000 impressions that will be shown to your customers. So CPM, cost per thousand, or cost per 1000 impressions are also being sold. That, for example, the Facebook says sometimes to you that you advertise your business. So what they do, no matter if you get a successful clients or not, but they show to the people, whichever your targeted audience is, to, let's say, to 1,000 impressions, then they show your ad to 1,000 people, and no matter if in this regard the CPM is considered. Is that clear?
Clear.
Yeah. So basically these are the very detailed and important terms, and we are just need to discuss each and everything in superficially, and whenever needed, once you will go through, then obviously you will get again varieties, types and methodologies and techniques and tips into every kind of the strategy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Revenue from the CPC. CPC is cost per click. Cost per click is when you are clicking on the advertisement, like a good Google AdSense. Google AdSense, you can see nowadays in every website, even the most popular these websites like articles, the websites like eHow and many more websites, they normally show the Google ads, and you get paid, the owner of the website get paid by showing the Google advertisements. Sometimes the Yahoo advertisements, they are being served to the visitors of your website, and whenever your customers the visitors of your website click on those advertisements deliberately or by mistake, then you are get paid. It says like they can be paid from 10 cents to 4 GBP. Like somebody, for example, the life insurance company gave an advertisement to your website, and somebody bought the insurance by clicking on the ad from your website, then they got a business. The insurance company got a business, and they are happy to pay about £4, the 4 British pounds, to the pay per click advertisement. So it's called the CPC, the pay per click advertisement. Revenue from sponsorship of site sections or content types, typically fixed fee for a period. So normally you can sell a portion of your website to anyone, like to any bank or to any of the typical firm, and then you will have a portion that you will be displaying your continuous and your advertisement, your section or whatever you have, you can put and sell as a pay per portion. So that's also possible. Normally we don't know, and we don't recognize that that's the part of two websites, or maybe the website has been splitted into two parts, but it happens, and those sections or segments are being sold for a particular time. Affiliate revenue. The affiliate revenue is a commission based again. For example, I display Amazon books on my personal blog site, let's say davechafee.com or any abc.com, and receive around 5% of the cover price as a fee from Amazon. So same thing, like a kind of affiliate program we discussed earlier is kind of the when you are somebody is trying to buy anything with a referral link provided on your page, and they click, and automatically you will be taken to the seller website, and your name, your account details will be put into for the commission automatically. Subscriber data access for email marketing. The data a site owner has about its customers is also potentially valuable, since it can set different forms of email to its customers if they have given their permission that they are happy to receive email either from the publisher or third parties. Sometimes what happens, when you subscribe automatically to any website, what happens that at the time of your purchase, certain checkbox are already clicked, and by default, what they want is that they intentionally or by default get your permission that you will be sent the email, their newsletters, as well as you accidentally or unwillingly or by default allow them to distribute, to disclose your email to the third parties as well. We normally don't know this option or not. Have you ever noticed this?
Yep.
Yeah. So most of the time there are many the check boxes that we if we are in rush and then we either we don't check the uncheck, and what they really get our permission, the our term, we accept the terms and conditions that the owner of the website will not only send you the products of the emails, but the emails about their products, but they will also sell their emails to others as well. That's the reason that we never know that how they got our email, but it is the subscriber data for email marketing. They sell those emails to the other companies, the relevant companies, and in this way they do the email marketing. Is that clear?
Clear.
So normally this kind of email marketing is not correct, and but at some point some subscriber they sell the email database, and we never know that who are they, but accidentally at many times we allow them that okay they can disclose our emails. Is that true? Is it true?
True, yes, true.
Okay, fine. Now, transactions. So we talk about that how e-commerce transactions came into existence. Let us talk about the types of transactions. Electronic payment system is a technology when it comes to an implementation and service is the combination of methods, arrangements, and technology allowing to make payments counterparties to data networks, in most cases under latter means that internet. Payment systems can be divided by technology of payments. So kind of the paying by your card at a sale point is also kind of electronic payment. Is it correct to say?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So normally that when you pay, previously you used to pay in cash, but when the kind of history evolution started from electronic pay, and then you used to go to the stores and you started to pay via cards, the credit cards. It was a new thing in those days, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So that started from that point. The offline payment system, when a payment is made without a participation of the internet, it is referred to as an offline payment. According to the type of the payment, offline payment systems are divided into. Now we are talking about the offline payment. It means we are in a store. So two types of the store: instant payment system, payment by cash payment terminal, and card payment system, payment by credit card payment system. So the type of instant payment probably can be, really depends, like when you buy from the debit card, then you are expecting that your merchant account will be used, but normally these type of USI, Elexendent, and cyber payment, they allow you to pay instantly. Possibly they might use the kind of credit once they charge their account and then they pay. while paying by the credit card, they charge to the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
Online payment system, payment is via internet. So we discussed earlier about the offline, and online is made via internet. So card payment is one of the payment online, which can be done by any Visa card, MasterCard, American Express. Operators of digital cash, the payment is made on the internet. So for digital cash, a kind of internal currency that can be cashed at the relevant actors. So have you heard about the Bitcoin?
Sorry?
Have you heard about the Bitcoin currency?
No.
So digital cash is also kind of value in credit.
Oh, Bitcoin. You said Bitcoin?
Yeah.
I know about it.
So digital cash are the value in the coupons, yeah, or gift cards is also kind of digital cash. Yeah. Payment gateways represent a synergy of card system and operators digital cash, providing ample opportunities for mutual conversion and ways to pay for goods and services on the internet. PayPal is a kind of payment gateway that will create a bridge for you. Yeah. So online payment you can do by the card, you can use the digital cash, or maybe you can use the gateway like the PayPal. Yeah. Okay. Current and future e-commerce revenue models. The electronic payment industry today is coming to grips with the idea that what was once our only product, credit and debit card processing, is quickly becoming just part of much larger solution that not only enables electronic payment but encourages and facilitates the sales that drive the payment transaction. So from the beginning it used to be a just card processing, but now the electronic commerce models have given facilitations into the sales and payment transactions. Mobility is one of them. The concept of consumers waving a smartphone at a point of sale terminal to pay for a purchase and caught the public's attention, but mobility is much more than that. Mobility is, for example, the contactless payment is a kind of mobility, or maybe paying via mobile, and different sources used for paying mobile is kind of the mobility into the payment, and contactless is really the contactless payment is a good example of the mobility.
Yeah.
The security, we're talking about the certain models and concerns. They are mobility, they provide the mobility into the payment. That's a future. The security, if you are currently accept the card payments, get ready for EMV. EMV stands for Europay, MasterCard and Visa. So if you are already EMV compliant, and credit card companies have made it priority to have EMV in 2015 in US. So basically the EMV is those kinds of cards is a protocol used for smart cards which have embedded chip and are virtually impossible to counterfeit. It means we are talking about the future of e-commerce started from mobility to security. If you have EMV is a kind of like if you have a card like a debit card or credit card, and especially it says under the rules of EMV like Europay, MasterCard or Visa card, they have a chip on the card. Have you seen a chip on the card?
Sorry.
Have you seen a chip on the
Yeah.
So chip on the card, basically it has an enhanced security. Using those cards and using the last digits, it is much more standard and compatible feature provided by this EME. So that's really good, and they are encouraging to have it. Emergence of non-traditional payment systems. The emergence of new technology will have a significant effect on the emergence of non-traditional payment services that doesn't involve traditional debit or credit card accounts. So consumers are going to see their choice of payment methods increasingly dramatically in the next few years, and both the retail and electronic payment industries will have to accommodate those choices. So one of the choices, let's say paying by credit card, paying by debit card is also the option, but paying by vouchers, paying by the Bitcoin and large kind of currencies is a kind of challenge and non-traditional payments. Is that true?
True. Hello.
Is it true
Yeah.
non-traditional payment is emerging basically? Every day you are getting a new alternative payment method. Is that true?
True.
Yes. The role of the E prefix in business sectors. Internet-related prefixes such as e-business, i-business, cyber business, info, techno, net are added to a wide range of existing words to describe new internet or computer-related favors of existing concepts, often electronic products and services that already have a non-electronic counterpart. The adjective virtual is often used in a similar manner. So overall, the E prefix has a much more vital the recognition to your non-existing business. When you are using the word E, then it means you are enhancing your business, you are increasing your business range. Is that true?
True.
Now, e-marketing strategies. 10 e-commerce strategies that are to be implemented. Micro-target and online audience. E-commerce is basically about establishing a territory, defining and designing a site to reach an audience with a common interest or characteristics. Whatever your product or service, define your company's niche market that you can penetrate online with specialized offerings. So you basically need to target your audience, that what they want and what is your position of in the market. That is the one of the strategy that you need to focus. Then personalize. Site visitors are demanding one of a kind experiences that cater to their needs and interests. Technology is available even to smaller players to capture individual shoppers' interests and preferences and generate a product selection and shopping experience led by individualized promotions tailored to them. So the e-com strategy is to personalize the needs of the individual shoppers. If you know that an individual is interested into a kind of products, for example, if someone is interested in buying only the laptops, then you need to know that what they are really a type of customer. For example, if someone is buying only clothes, then you need not to send the newsletters of the laptops to them. It will be a wastage of marketing. So that's why you need to personalize the individual needs and see what they really are a type of customer. So the next strategy, the third one, is create content to build stickiness. Winning e-commerce deploys crowdsourced content to make a site sticky for potential buyers. Amazon attracted millions of consumers by encouraging them to share their opinions of their items like books and CDs. What is your strategy to help potential customers for your products or services find via Google? Use a keyword and meta text to raise your ranking in search results. So your content should be sticky and it should be sticking uh, to the attraction of user. No matter how you get it, possibly you use the meta tags, the information about your products explained into different ways, but your content should be very much related and relevant, so that everywhere you should be identified, right? Tailor the browsing experience to target segments. Brand appropriate site design and well structured navigation remain key ingredients for attracting an audience and getting them to come back. Provide an enticing browsing experience across online platforms. If you want to sell backpacks to college students, examples use vibrant colors with flashing design to evoke a sense of youth and adventure. So tailor the browsing experience, like a graft the browsing experience, that how the user will be browsing and how they will experience the usage into the website, what segments of the website will attract to individuals, and you need to really involve them into the engagement of a particular products and website, the parts of the website, so that they should be targeted. Integrate across channels. Create multiple channel offerings, enabling your consumers to experience your brand consistently, whatever their shopping method of choice, but be sure that products you are selling via different channels are sufficiently differentiated to count for price differences. So channels, possibly you can sell your product by your website directly. Probably you can sell your website through the wholesalers. You can sell your the products uh, by the maybe on commission basis, or you can use both of them. So you should integrate across channels, means you should have various channels of selling your products online. So it's a kind of strategy, because it's not necessary that everybody could be coming to you to your website, but you can also initiate a kind of affiliate program. You can ask the bloggers, you can ask the website owners that they can create an affiliation with you. That's also the strategy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Invest in mobile commerce is growing at a rate of the over 130%. 130% is basically annually. It means the business, whatever the business work was carried out before, uh, was normally didn't have the attraction to be uh, increased, but nowadays people are using mobiles, and the business, the advertisement of the business, like using mobile apps, yeah, accessing the services, for example the service delivery status, real time notifications, click to call, maps, product information. Nowadays they are increasing by 130% annually. For example, if people used, like 100 people used the mobile apps for status of a delivery, then every year they are increasing, isn't it? People prefer to use the mobile based applications and kind of such informations. Is it true?
True.
Yeah. Tap into logistics to accommodate growth. You may need to tap the capabilities of third party logistics providers to manage a high volume of complex orders. Reverse logistics, the ability to handle returns and exchanges quickly and economically. So for your e-commerce strategy, you do not need to take the tension of the delivery, the logistics companies who deliver your products, the delivery, basically it is advised that you use third party delivery companies. Yeah, you do not need to take the tension that you have to deliver by your own. For example, if you have a machinery and possibly in order to send your machinery by yourself, by your courier, might be risky and you need to invest much more on your transport. You try to have hire any kind of third party and they will give you more facility. So that's a kind of tip. Is that does it make a sense?
Sorry.
Tap into logistics using third party logistics. Logistics are basically the means to use the transport. It is advising do not use your logistics but use third party logistics. Does it make a sense?
Yeah, I guess at least
Yeah.
at the start.
Yeah, because it involves lots of risk if you are delivering and using your own convenience and transport. Is that true?
True.
Consider subscription commerce. Subscription commerce takes several forms in the replenishment model. A commodity item is sent to the customer every month. The discovery model is more promising. It offers subscription to selected experience that delivers new, hard to find, customized items periodically to customers' doorsteps. So this means that try to create a subscription-based commodity. For example, if you have a regular customers, then you should be able to provide them a kind of delivery via subscription. So, for example, if you have a pharmacy, if you need to dispense your medicines to the existing customers, they don't need to come to you every time, but you can send them their orders monthly. Even on the Amazon, you explicitly see the option that if you will get the subscription, then you will get a cheaper price, and every time you will not need to place an order, and the orders will be automatically placed and the payments will be automatically taken, and via subscription you will not need to worry. For example, the stock in your store. For example, if you are an online seller and somebody relies mostly like a 50% items for their physical store, the standard store, and they know that they need to place an order every month or maybe every week, then you need to offer them a kind of subscription. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon and many, like we deal if we look at the normal supermarket, then question arises that will they be every time requesting that they need a milk, like a 10 liters of milk every day? I don't think so. They will be placing, they would have a subscription that they will be automatically getting like a let's say 10 bottles or 100 bottles every day with a subscription. Does it make a sense?
Yeah.
Bypass the middleman. The internet is enabling small companies to reach lot of customers quickly. Manufacturers, including factories in China, are increasingly willing to work with small brands. They have discovered that small brands are more likely to introduce new products to the market because they are less constrained by shelf space limitations and complex supply chain. So the same thing, that if there is any middleman in between, then you try to remove those middlemen, like the wholesalers. Try to reach them to your customers directly. Offer a seamless experience across channels. Your sales will grow if you ensure that product availability, promotion strategies, and brand experience are consistent across all channels, whether online, in store, or a mobile device. Implement cloud-based supply chain technology to gain visibility into your performance across all channels. So seamless experience is basically that wherever you are selling your product, and your promotions, your prices should have been kept same. It shouldn't be the case that if you are selling one product at expensive rate and you are selling your same product at the cheaper price, it will little bit divert the attention of your customers. Nowadays we can buy the same product cheaper from the different seller, and the same seller, and I mean, have you tried to find, let's say, buy, let's say, any Colgate toothpaste? Yeah, the Colgate toothpaste may be available expensive on the one store and cheaper on the other store. Is it possible?
I guess.
Yeah. So it is advising that do not create such kind of price fluctuations. Try to keep the price same. Obviously, the customers will be distracted. They will disappointed that, oh, why did I buy the expensive one? However, I could buy at the cheaper one. The particular seller was selling cheaper. Is that true?
True.
Yeah. So they will basically they will not like this strategy. They would say, oh, this company is not good. They are dodgy. They have their own prices. If some people, the regular customers, they like a kind of solid and stable companies whose prices are always same and consistent. Is that true? That customers want the loyalty in the price? Yeah.
Yeah.
E-marketing models. Merchants use a variety of models to structure performance-based payments to publishers. They vary in amount of payment and overall penetration, but each is completely trackable, allowing the merchant to pay only for performance. E-marketing. Basically, it is advising that you should market your product through electronically, and those who market are merchants. Basically, the merchants for you, they market your product and use a variety of models to structure a performance-based payments to publishers. So they vary in amount of payment and overall penetration, but trackable, allowing the merchant to pay only for performance. Basically, e-marketing is a paid marketing. You need to pay for your marketing, and it's not necessary. They cannot dodge you. That, for example, if you paid them to display your advertising to 100 people on 100 computers, then it is trackable. They cannot cheat you. If you manually gave, let's say, £100 to someone to drop the leaflets into 100 houses, then you will not be sure that whether they did the job or not. But e-marketing helps you to track it, and the performance you will get it. Does it make a sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Percent of sale. This is the most common way the retailers pay. It requires that a visitor to a publisher website not only click on the advertiser link, but also make a purchase in order for the publisher to receive a commission. So one thing is that you only market, and another thing is that somebody is placing your link to your website, and they will only be paid if somebody really purchased. They will not be paid if somebody only clicked. So obviously, we discussed earlier pay per click, pay per commission, and impressions to be shown to the visitors, and the commission is basically the percent of sale, and obviously the commission will be higher if somebody really bought something from your website from the affiliate link, then it will be much more higher than the pay-per-click. So we are discussing about the e-marketing techniques, and models, e-commerce models, the new customers. This is the most common payment method for customer acquisition for a service and subscription type products and services. Commission rates are often determined by the advertiser based on actual or estimated lifetime value for the customer. So the new customers should have been made a lifetime customer by making them or allowing them a common payment method so that for their service by the subscription. For example, if you want to make your customers for the lifetime, then you should provide them a model of payment, let's say by the automatic payment. The automatic payment is a technique, e-marketing technique, that allows your customers to pay via subscription, and obviously it's good that whoever became your customer, they will be paying you automatically, and you will have a good business. Lead generations also need a lead generation requires that the customer fill out a form. The length and the complexity of the form often determines the amount that is paid for the lead. So you can create the lead and the kind of affiliates. This is a term in the e-commerce. Then you can also opt for the leads. Other online advertising models. There are several other online advertising models that are not typically performance-based. Performance-based means that you got a confirmation that out of 100 visits, about 4 or 5 maybe you got a successful. These models are often used for generating traffic and branding. So possibly it's not necessary that you get the direct marketing, but probably you can ask someone like SEO that your website should have been placed into many platforms, into many forums, and they will give you an indirect performance of your business. Does it make a sense?
Yep, it does.
Yeah. So like a direct marketing, they allow you a pay-per-click, an affiliate program, an impression based. But if you are trying to have a strategy that your website is just displayed somewhere, it's also kind of marketing model. Cost per click and pay per click. Advertise per pay click prices range anywhere from 5 cents to $5 or maybe more. So as we discussed that if somebody you can get paid if somebody is clicking on your panel of advertisement like Google AdWords, that you got an ad from the Google and somebody clicked from your website to the Google ad. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the model, nowadays we see, and websites put the advertisements no matter from Google or anywhere, they are doing it because of payment, and the payment is being done by one of the model like a pay-per-click. Yeah. Cost per 1,000, we discussed earlier that cost per 1,000 is the impressions that you need to pay to market your website. Let's say on the Facebook, about 100, let's say about 1,000 people will be served your advertisement, and no matter 5 or 10 people click on that particular advertisement, the sponsored ad, but it will be an assurance that your advertisement will be served, will be shown on the impression basis in terms of impressions. Yeah.
Yeah.
E-marketing techniques and tools. 5 new marketing tools and techniques are content marketing techniques. One of the most frequently talked buzzwords in digital marketing. Content marketing is essentially storytelling for your brand. Content can be virtually anything with a clear message, a series of attention-grabbing images, videos, blogs, or news items. Content marketing differs from traditional marketing tools in its resistance to overt calls or actions are purely product or service-based ads, and smart consumers have developed a nose for sussing out quality content from the guised up advertising. Like a good story, good content is original, dynamic, and shareable. Truly effective content marketing uses accessible voice to tell genuine stories that gain the trust of the customer and build a positive reputation for the brand. So content marketing is basically that whatever the product you are selling, its content, its features, its advantages and disadvantages should have been discussed in the form of reviews on the blogs, maybe discussed on the individual independent rating sites. So that is a kind of tool that you really need to select in order to do the marketing technique. You might have seen the reviews, the sites like a TripAdvisor, that's a kind of maybe the content marketing technique. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tools for social networking, for your e-marketing. Social media is one of the best marketing tool for humanizing your brand and connecting with your customers in real time. So a strong digital marketing strategy incorporates all social media forums appropriate to your organization, include Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, Pinterest, Instagram. So that's very understandable that nowadays you get lots of marketing of many products and services via the Facebook and those social networks. Is that true?
True.
Yeah. Go mobile. More and more of us are accessing information on the go. Having a website that uses responsive design for mobile formats, smartphones, tablets gives your company a competitive edge. Many marketers are now taking mobility a step further by using location data generated by the customer check in tools like Foursquare or Facebook, data provided by the AdWords and GPS to target marketing companies and build an ever more complete picture of who your customer is and where he or she goes, what he or she wants and when they want. Like Go Mobile. Go Mobile is basically based on the GPS. If you are looking at, for example, the nearest restaurants, then the nearest restaurants should be able to be accessed via the mobile, and it's a kind of the beautification of the mobile which helps you to attract your nearest customers, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
a kind of mobility marketing technique, and that allows you to grab your customers using mobiles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Retargeting. One of the most interesting new market techniques is the retargeting or remarketing. Tracks customers through cookies placements and continues to show them ads for products they have viewed in past across network of websites. Since only 2% of traffic converts to a first visit, retargeting is simple, powerful way to keep your brand and product in minds of potential customers and requires little effort on the part of the company. Remarketing is basically, you must have seen nowadays, you searched on the Google, you search on eBay, and if you are logged on eBay, then automatically you are getting the same kind of advertisements and products in front of you. Is that true? Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the retargeting indeed. Community building, the common thread in these best new digital market technique is the need for a brands to cater to the desire of consumers to be seen as individual and not just as a number. Consider the recent viral WestJet campaign that secretly fulfilled filters Kashmir wishes. With this campaign, WestJet managed to give an airline a warm, fuzzy personality. Brands need to prove a genuine interest in the personalities of their dynamic customer base and to treat communication as a way to build an authentic, like-minded community. So community can simply need to be explained like you create a group of discussion, yeah, and group of discussion is the one kind of community building. For example, people who are interested in buying the Apple products, and then that kind of community will really be the targeted audience for you, is a kind of the e-marketing tool that you are targeting and marketing on a community basis. Is that clear?
Clear.
Yeah, so that's done. It was a very lengthy session as well, but I tried to give you in a superficial definitions. I hope you should have understood.
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so any question?
No questions.
Okay, that's fine. So I end this session now, and we will. I would see you next week. So I would advise you to come up with the assignments as well as assignments as well, and as soon as possible, so that you should have some way at how you need to write the correct assignments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then see you next week.
See you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.